Hand, feet, what the fuck? Ow, I don't pay this.
Like it's a beautiful thing.
When it comes to things that are going on right now, when we talk about the job or the jab and things like that, man, what are your thoughts on that?
First of all, it's illegal. Number one. Number two, it's unscientific. Number three, it is immoral. Number four, it is evil, pure, wicked evil. They have no science to support what they're saying. They admitted that it doesn't prevent the spread of anything. They admitted that it doesn't prevent you from getting it yourself. They admitted that they cannot be sued if it harms and or kills you. Now, I don't know how it is in the South, but from my understanding, anywhere you go, if somebody say, hey, go ahead, take this, but if you get harmed by it, it mess you up, you die, whatever, you can't sue us. That's not a good deal. Sorry, I don't know if you would take that. I'm not taking that. That's what you're telling me. Not only that, but you're making so much money from this. You're telling a person, for example, those who are RNs, those who are doctors, those who are teachers, etc., who have been working with the people over the last 2 years, roughly. They've been in contact with the people who have had the virus this whole time, which means scientifically they have built up what's called the antibodies. So their body has recognized the virus. Most of them have already gotten it. They've overcome it, which means their immune system is what's called now a full, robust immune system, to where they are the only ones physically qualified, not only educationally, but physiologically and on an immunal level qualified to deal with the people right now. So you're telling me the people who are qualified, the ones who you called heroes, the ones who were on top of everything, they were right there, they were the frontline workers, all this stuff. Now you're calling them some crazy anti-vax conspiracy theorists, Trump supporters, because they simply say, hey, I don't want to have to take this in order to keep my job. See, this is not American. You get what I'm saying? This is the freedom of religion is the first amendment, first part of the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, the freedom of religion, speech, press, petition, assembly. Now, if you believe in God, America, then from my understanding, you should allow a person to use God as a justifiable excuse, the greatest justification, to not have to be given a concoction that is experimental, that I can't sue you for, that violates all 10 of the Nuremberg codes, that does not have any scientific basis whatsoever, has no long-term data nor information, so you can tell me exactly what's going to happen to me down the line 10 to 15 years from now because you don't know. You're telling me that I have to risk my life, potentially my child's education, my ability to travel, my ability to have access to freedoms and, be around people in society. I have to be put in this type of situation where now I'm looking at either I take this or I can't pay my bills. I take this, I can't take care of my child. I take this, I got to move in with somebody. I take it. Brother, this ain't got nothing to do with health whatsoever. This has everything to do with control and ultimately depopulation. And that's the actual fact.
Talk about depopulation, and what are your thoughts on that as well, Reza? Because, that's been floating around. Some folks say it's rumor, some folks say it's fact.
Ooh, okay.
What's your argument on that?
Well, I'll say this. See, this is the beauty when we deal with actual facts. I'll go straight to the United States government policy. You have what's called the National Security Study Memorandum 200, also known as NSSM 200, which was authorized, written under Dr. Henry Kissinger, who was the 32nd Secretary of State under President Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford. Pardon me, documentation. Now, this is all we go straight to what the U.S. government has stated. He stated, quote, depopulation should be the highest priority of U.S. foreign policy towards the third world, end quote. They literally stated in this documentation that we need to get rid of 2 to 3 billion people on planet Earth. Outside of that, you have something called Global 2000, which was also authorized under Jimmy Carter, outlining how food can be used as a weapon. Outside of that, you had someone by the name of Zbigniew Brzezinski, who was a former advisor to President Jimmy Carter, who stated, quote, in earlier times, it was easier to control 1 million people than to physically kill 1 million people. He said, but now it is infinitely easier to kill 1 million people than it is to control, end quote. So what you're dealing with is the food, the air, the water, reproductive services, Planned Parenthood, and all these different arenas are being used to go towards an effort of getting rid of human beings, black, white, and all in between, by the billions, by a government-sponsored, pharmaceutically sponsored conspiracy. Now, a conspiracy is when 2 or more groups, people, or organizations come together to do something that is evil and or wicked. Conspiracy is a real thing. Conspiracy theory is when you're not sure of what is happening. That's a theory. We're dealing with conspiracy fact, conspiracy documentation, conspiracy organized calculated schemes that are being conducted by people on high. And guess what? Again, they coming after black and white folks and all in between. Black folks are number one. Don't ever get it twisted. We are the number one target. But at this point, they are looking at the reality that people are waking up too fast. They didn't expect us to wake up too fast, hence social media being a problem. a gift and a curse. You see what I'm saying? So now that we're waking up so quickly, they didn't expect the masses of humanity to rise up, wake up, become aware of what this government's agenda is. And because of that, now they're trying to figure out exactly how to get rid of people. They said these white folks is waking up. They're coming against us. Their government. Black folks is waking up. They're coming against us. So now at this point, they're like, well, just get rid of them all.
So for you on social media, having to deal with